Louisville and Notre Dame. Don't need to say much more. And Olivia Miles, number 5 in that white jersey. That's who we're talking about, the freshman point guard for the Irish.
It's going to be interesting to watch. Louisville's defense, man-to-man, their pressure can speed you up. Will it affect Olivia Miles?
The pass was intended for Maddie Westfeld, but it was stolen away by Louisville. This team has a lot of balance. We talked about Haley Van Lith. Emily Ingsler has made a huge impact transferring in from Syracuse.
She brings that grit, toughness, a post player that can play inside and out.
Chelsea Hall with the basketball. They kick it back inside. Olivia Cochran under the basket, battling with Maya Dotson.
You know, I expected Notre Dame to start this game in a zone. They started out man-to-man, and already one block for Maya Dotson. She is having a tremendous season, specifically defensively.
Well, you talk about a transfer impact. She's one of them, coming in from Stanford. And there she gets the rebound. Notre Dame has settled on this lineup. Sonia Citron has moved into the starting lineup, and Niele Ivey, their second-year head coach, loves what she brings to start the game.
Well, she brings energy. She will guard. She will get on the glass. That's another freshman. She has come in, too, with a lot of confidence.
Kiana Smith, the floater in the lane. Now, we saw Louisville's ball movement. Notre Dame can certainly move the basketball well, too.
Absolutely, because they've got weapons, all 5 spots.
Miles' shot won't go. Kiana Smith bringing it down the floor for the Cardinals. Inside to Cochran. Ingsler for 3.
Louisville doesn't look, they don't look sped up. They need to speed back down the floor defensively, though. That's great transition offense from Notre Dame.
And we got to talk to Niele Ivey, Notre Dame's head coach, obviously played there, won a national championship as a player, as an assistant. She wanted to move a little bit faster, play with quicker pace against this Louisville team. She didn't want to get stuck in a half-court offense.
Well, when you're playing against a tough defensive team, you don't want to let them get their defense set because they're going to be in the passing lanes. And Louisville is a physical team as well. Makes it hard to find offense.
Corner for Olivia Miles, sinks it.
We talked about her distributing the basketball. Hey, she's a streaky shooter. She get hot from there as well. Could be problems.
Now, she is Notre Dame's leading scorer at 14 points per game. Haley Van Lith trying to step around her. It's really unique, Olivia Miles' situation. She came in last year as an early enrollee, the very first one in Notre Dame history, played in 6 games in the spring. So that makes her ineligible for any Freshman of the Year awards this season, even though technically she is a freshman.
Yeah, I wanted to make the argument that she should be considered a freshman, but after you think about it, playing 6 games, you say you have a player who was to play 6 games and get injured and then comes back the next year, not eligible to be Freshman of the Year. So I get that argument.
You think an all-ACC selection, though, for Olivia Miles?
I think that you could go Olivia Miles, all-ACC, maybe. It's the all-ACC Player of the Year. Look at how she seeds the floor in transition. She also has the ability to score it.
That one bounces off the iron for Miles. Up ahead, Haley Van Lith. Kicks back out to Chelsea Hall. Offensive rebound, Louisville. Lost it into the hands of Citron. Citron trying the step around. Now, she is a true freshman for Notre Dame.
We're in Kentucky, and these players are off to the races.
Yeah. Tough miss for Kiana Smith.
They're being excited to get to that media timeout as they're getting up and down the floor.
There goes Louisville. Chelsea Hall by herself on the layup. Look, Louisville's had a little more rest, too. Their game against Virginia was forfeited due to travel issues with the Virginia program. Louisville did get a win when it comes to their ACC record, but not their overall record, and that's because their win percentage in the conference determines seeding in the conference tournament.
Well, and I was wondering if that would break. Oh, look at Citron on the steal.
Easy bucket for the freshman.
Absolutely. But I was concerned, or looking at Louisville, okay, they were on such a roll. They were in a rhythm. Would that, not having that game against Virginia, would that stop their momentum? But it doesn't look to have affected them.
Yeah, coming out in this game shooting 44% from the floor so far. Turnover by Louisville, their third. Citron by herself. Oh, rattles out. Inksler's shot won't go.
This next time out, both coaches are going to talk about transition defense.
And there's going to be foul whistled on Notre Dame. It's already been a big season. This Notre Dame is one of the top 25 teams here at Stanford. She was also dealing with some injuries, and I think it's made her appreciate even more being able to step on the floor and enjoying those moments.
I tell you, it was really interesting talking to Coach Ivey about Maya Dotson and how they brought her back from those injuries slowly so that she's playing with no pain, and she has been a major impact for Notre Dame. In that NC State win, Alyssa Cunane, she had 13 points, but only 4 of 5 from the floor, and that had a lot to do with Dotson's defense.
No, she has been a game changer for Notre Dame, and Niele Ivey remembered recruiting her before she made this decision to go to Stanford, so she knew what she was getting. Dotson saves it and gets it back to Olivia Miles. Maya Dotson, the leading rebounder for this Notre Dame team, and Miles in the paint for the basket.
Now, Olivia Miles, I think, is not talked about enough for what she has done for this Notre Dame team. And Niele Ivey talked about that she reminded her a lot of herself and how she played.
I mean, how special is it, too? You could see Niele Ivey's face light up when she talked about Olivia Miles, the conversations that these two can have, because Miles has a very high basketball IQ, and she's picking up on the speed of this college game very quickly.
She has great maturity on the court, great composure, competitive, headsy, all about business when she's out there.
Tanea Peoples going inside to Sam Brunel.
Sam Brunel has had really a huge transition from last year to this year. She's gotten herself in tremendous shape, dropped 30 pounds, recovered from some knee issues that she has had, and adjusted to a role of coming off the bench.
Peoples pushing, what a drop off to Sam Brunel. Kiana Smith trying to go the other way.
Sam Brunel, you talk about a high basketball IQ and understanding how to position yourself. She's a 3-4, playing more 4 this season, and then running the floor in transition is exactly what Notre Dame needs.
Notre Dame on a 6-0 run. Emily Inksler. Good post move over Brunel.
I'm going to keep an eye on those two. Inksler and Brunel guarding each other. Both those two players, they play with some fight. They play with some aggressiveness.
It's a foul on Inksler. Inksler's got to stay out of foul trouble, though. That's happened a couple times for Louisville this season.
Yeah, she is so key and vital, and she takes chances defensively, but she's got to make sure that she can stay in this game because Louisville's going to need her.
Brunel for 3. Inksler swarmed in to get the rebound, battling Maya Dotson for it. Possession arrow is pointing to Louisville.
I told you Emily Inksler will take some chances, but then she can do that because she'll recover. She's the one flying in from the top of the key to get the tie-up with Dotson on the rebound.
Inkster's been a player that has fit in immediately for Jeff Walz and Louisville. Jeff Walz in his 15th season. They have reached 20 wins for the 12th straight season, and they've won 5 games against top 25 teams. Those losses to Arizona in the first game of the season, and NC State, where they really had won the game through 3 quarters.
Oh, that was, yeah, Jeff Walz. And he, you know what, in talking to him, he took the blame for some of that too. He had put his team, I think he went into a zone, said probably, he told his team, that was my bad, I shouldn't have gone into that, so he took some accountability. Look, that allows your team to, they hear you. When you take accountability instead of you didn't do this or you didn't do that, when the coach says, I had to play a part in this too, they'll listen to him the rest of the season. They trust him.
Olivia Miles with the step back. Maya Dotson skying for the rebound. Down to the block and Peoples. Ingsler behind the back. She can bring the ball up the floor. Mikasa Robinson just short. Important to note, Sam Brunel has been taken out of this game. She's over on the Notre Dame bench right now. They're taking a look at that right shoulder, that right arm. And she just stood up. Looks like they may be taking her back to the locker room. We'll try to get an update for you on her. Because just as key as Emily Ingsler is, so is Sam Brunel.
Oh, Sam Brunel, just like Ingsler, brings that grit, that toughness, has been that spark coming in off the bench.
What a pass down low to Mikasa Robinson.
Mikasa Robinson just knows how to be in the right place at the right time, whether it's on the offensive end or defensive end. She's just that glue player that Louisville needs.
Now, Jeff Walz always knows what Mikasa Robinson is going to give them every game. He'll swing it to Peoples. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Maddie Westfeld. That's a foul on Liz Dixon of Louisville.
Keep an eye on Citron, the inbounder, with 14 seconds left to go. Miles is going to recognize where she is. I think she's the best scoring threat on the floor if it's not Miles off the bounce or getting the ball inside to Dotson.
Miles would give it up to Peoples. And Mikasa Robinson was trying to hustle down the floor. No basket, no foul called, and it's a 1-point game after 10 minutes.
Wednesday, for Wednesday's practice. I just wish he had ridden the camel on a Wednesday.
It's a hump day miss, if you will.
Hump day?
Yeah.
That's amazing to go all the way to Egypt. He said, you know, he was there probably less than 24 hours. He was able to see a professional men's game as well while he was over there. They went to dinner. Then that night, he was on a flight back. So he said he wasn't even there long enough to allow have any effects of jet lag. You just sleep.
It's not often, though, you talk about a midweek recruiting trip to Egypt.
To Egypt?
Yeah.
She must be pretty daggone good.
Well, he's recruited some great players in his time at Louisville, that's for sure. And there's going to be a foul called on Notre Dame. It's on Olivia Miles. So Louisville's got a pretty nice tournament resume. Charlie Cream has them as a #1 seed, and we got an update from Charlie this morning. Even if Louisville were to lose this game today, they would still stay in that 1 seed line because of losses by Michigan and Arizona earlier this week.
That's right. So because Michigan was biting at the heels, if they had beaten Michigan State, that would put Michigan in the conversation to be a #1 seed. It's going to be interesting to see what the committee does with the game that Jeff Walz didn't get to play against Virginia, because that is not considered NCAA-wise as a forfeit. It isn't a forfeit when it comes to deciding the ACC standings.
It's a big three from Alana Smith, the first three for Louisville today. Yeah, that's why you see that win reflected in their conference record, but not in their overall record.
Alana Smith is one of these players Jeff Walls wanted to see get going. This could definitely help her confidence, seeing the ball go through the rim from the three-point line.
Might help some of her teammates too. Louisville is the second best three-point shooting team in the conference. That one hit off the back of Mikasa Robinson into the hands of Miles. Dara Mabry there. She is a three-point threat inside to Maddie Westbeld.
Isn't everybody with the last name Mabry a three-point threat?
I think it's a given.
It's in their DNA.
Yeah, there's no choice. Look, Notre Dame could use Maddie Westbeld. Her birthday was on Thursday. She turned 20, had 21 points, hit a career-high 4 threes.
That's a great way to celebrate your birthday.
Happy birthday to yourself.
That's it. But Westbeld, she's a strong player. She's one of those players like, oh, that's a great pass.
Oh, but Citron can't finish.
But she's like Insler. She's that 3-4 player. She can post you up and she can knock down the three.
Cochran's stuck with the basketball.
Notre Dame in this matchup zone.
8 seconds. Van Lith swings it. Alana Smith. Maya Dotson on the block. That's 2 looks right into the basket that Notre Dame hasn't finished.
Oh, they gonna let them play today.
Kick out to Maddie Westbeld for 3. I know Notre Dame wants to play with pace. Is that okay if you're Louisville?
Yeah, Louisville can play with pace as well. They are a team that has spent a lot of time this season, their success scoring off their defense and running in transition. Got Van Lith running the point guard spot.
Running out of time though, 6 seconds. Mikasa Robinson, elbow. Notre Dame's forcing Louisville to take some tough shots. Let's see what Olivia Miles can do. It's nice to have Maya Dotson.
Let me tell you, when you're Olivia Miles, you're going to get your assist from delivering that leads to a shot. But when you've got Maya Dotson on the floor, that's almost like an assist. You shoot it, Dotson goes and gets it.
Miles averages 7.3 assists per game. That is second in the nation. Should be fine adding that assist if it counted. Alana Smith ends a scoring drought of over 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
She scored that over Maya Dotson. It was almost like she had hang time because Dotson was coming to block it, but she kept her focus and got the finish. Mabry's got to find her opportunities as well. She's a nice three-point shooter.
Mabry's 0 for 2. This is Westbeld. Cochran on the glass. Louisville's out rebounding Notre Dame by 3. Oh, what do we call it, Peck?
The ball is stuck in the rim.
Oh, come on.
Wedgie.
Wedgie.
Okay, that wasn't a beautiful shot, but this one was. You watch Alana Smith, she attacks in, and with the overstretched arm of Maya Dotson, she just keeps focused on the target and gets the finish.
Alana Smith has had quite the journey. Started at UCLA, then 1 season at Gulf Coast State, was the JUCO Player of the Year in 2020. Averaged just 3 points a game last year for the Cardinals.
When you have Alana Smith and Kiana Smith, not sisters, when you get them rolling with Haley Van Lith, Emily Insler, that's when the Cardinals are really, really clicking.
So there was a hook ball called. Louisville inbounding. Peyton Verhulst. Ever since that Duke game, when we saw her 2 weeks ago, she's become more of a factor.
Yeah, and her confidence, she has never lacked for that. Jeff Wall said, Peyton hasn't found a shot she hadn't liked. Yeah. So she's got it, but she's got to be efficient with those shots, and she was exactly that against Duke.
She's 1 for 1 today. They'll feed Westbelt down low. It was a 1-point gain after the first quarter. It's still staying close. Travel on Van Lith. Rivalry game, Notre Dame, Louisville, inside the KFC Yum Center.
4 over third-ranked NC State ladies.
Coach Landers, I hear you. Louisville has not been able to create off the bounce against that zone. I think that if Notre Dame if Louisville tries to turn the corner, use some ball screen action against a matchup zone, use some of your man-to-man offenses, that could create some opportunities.
And both teams shooting in the 30 percentile. Sonia Citron was giving it everything she had under the basket. And they whistle Maya Dotson on the foul.
Louisville is a little bit undersized when you bring Maya Dotson into the conversation, but Olivia Cochran used her backside to box out, got rewarded, called Dotson for the foul.
And that's going to be another foul on Maya Dotson. That'll be her second. Here's our next Big Monday doubleheader. Virginia Tech hosting Virginia in Blacksburg at 7 Eastern. Then number 8 Kansas squaring off against Oklahoma State. That'll be at Allen Fieldhouse. Both games right here on ESPN. And the app, Kansas getting a win over Oklahoma yesterday, 71-69. 33 straight 20-win seasons. Longest in D1.
There's penetration from Louisville. Off the bounce. Louisville's got to find players that can do that and make the defense have to rotate.
Well, and they don't have Dotson down there right now because she's got 2 fouls.
Exactly.
Chelsea Hall with the pull-up. She has been challenged to look for her shot a little more. She's starting to get some more offense going. The transfer from Vanderbilt.
And it has to come without thinking about it. It's got to come off instinct, ready to catch and shoot.
Louisville basketball. Cardinals have hit their 3 straight shots.
Coach Landers talked about in studio, Louisville creating shots off the bounce. Haley Van Lith there, and then Chelsea Hall finding the spot. The window open, she found her shot.
Inside to Cochran. Kiana Smith, offensive rebound, Cochran. And if they whistle that on Westbeld, no, it's on Anaya Peoples. That would have been Westbeld's second. First on Peoples.
We see such an impact that Maya Dotson has, or the lack of having her on the floor, how much that affects the opponents. They're able to go inside in the paint and create some opportunities.
It's the first time that Louisville has been to the free throw line today. First time either team has been to the free throw line.
Yeah, that whole first quarter, nobody.
I knew it went by fast.
It was fast, and it was getting up and down the floor.
It's a 6-0 run for Louisville. Sonia Citron going around the defense, but short. Cardinals will take it.
Now Louisville having Olivia Cochran in the game. They can really use her inside. She's got to finish that.
Yeah, she's got to finish it. It's a great pass. Olivia Miles way off and then pleading with the officials for the foul.
Yeah, Miles has got to understand, Louisville's got a lead right now, but you don't have to get it back all at once. Now, I can take the three if you're not being guarded, but that was a contested three.
I heard Rebecca Lobo say in the studio, if they can get some good shots from behind the arc, they certainly can hit them and get back in this quick.
But that's going to come from ball movement. Again, and ball reversal from side to side.
Louisville with the turnover, and then Chelsea Hall with the foul. First on Hall. Notre Dame looking for some offense. They have missed their last 5 shots.
Well, Notre Dame, they like to run a lot of chin action, really playing with the post up high, either handoffs, ball screens to open up shots.
Dara Mabry, no on the 3. Westbell through the double team and finishes.
She creates space. She understands she's not going to score over too many bigger players, so she uses good footwork and patience on the block.
Now Westbelt having to battle with Cochran on the other end. Peyton Verholst.
Told you, she likes, hey,
Yeah.
she gets it, that's my shot.
Were you okay with that shot?
I was okay with that shot because she has proven that she is a perfect three-point shooter. I probably would have preferred, give it a shot fake because it was contested. Move it and then wait for it. Be patient. It'll come back to you.
No, she does shoot 45% from behind the arc.
1 minute left in the half.
It's been a tight first half. 1 minute to go. Chelsea Hall! Second 3 ball by Louisville.
That was just like we drew it up in the start of the game. Go inside, look backside. You got shooters.
Miles kicked all the way to the other side of the floor to Peoples. And Notre Dame will keep this ball.
Against the zone, you get a touch for your post, the defense shifts, and it was Verholst down on that low block, posting up again, that caused the late rotation that gave Chelsea Hall time.
Sonia Citron pulling it out. Shot clock still on. Cochran up ahead to Kiana Smith. Louisville's got a little time here. They can take the last shot of the half. Armbar called on Dara Mabry. Cardinals with their largest lead right now of the game.
What changed for Louisville was had a lot to do with Maya Dotson getting into foul trouble. And then it was as if, okay, now the backstop's not there. Now we can be more aggressive. Now we can attack the basket or at least get post touches, and then they were getting shots from the perimeter.
And Maya Dotson, their leading rebounder, she averages 12 points per game to go along with that. 4 points for her. Played 16 minutes in this first half. That combined on the other end with Notre Dame struggling to score. It's been costly. Deep heave from Dara Mabry, and Louisville, with its largest lead, they will take it into the locker room. 8 different players have scored for this balanced Louisville team. 32-21, that's your score at the half. Let's get you back to the studio.
Thank you.
Louisville had 8 different players score in this basketball game. The problem for Notre Dame has been they're just not making shots. 22% from the field, 27% from the field in the first half. 1 for 15 from 3. Emily Inksler with a nasty block.
Well, one of the things that Louisville is doing defensively is they're taking away the assists. They're making Olivia Miles be a scorer.
Yeah, Olivia Miles, the outstanding freshman. She's second in the nation in assists per game, averages 7.3 a game. She has 1.
Well, and so when you're Louisville and you're looking at scouting Notre Dame, what do you say? Look, we're going to defend Olivia Miles one-on-one. Keep her in front, even take a step back, make her shoot the ball, because when you let her wheel and deal and cause defense to have to rotate, that's where she gets the assist in finding the open person.
Haley Van Lith, it's going to be tough to go over Maya Dotson. She's got Olivia Cochran to back her up. So here comes Olivia Miles and Notre Dame. Miles number 5 in that white jersey.
You see Chelsea Hall doesn't need any help. Kiana Williams doesn't need any help in defending Olivia Miles.
Mabry the driving kick. Citron found herself far under the basket, and jump ball possession arrow pointing to Louisville.
Olivia Cochran has really made her presence felt inside, defensively, battling, making it tough as far as the post defense for Louisville. We talked so much about Maya Dotson doing it for Notre Dame.
And Jeff Walls is able to call a timeout as Chelsea Hall got trapped over there on the sideline. Cardinals up 34-21 here in the third quarter. By Oliver Lewis, he was the first jockey to win the Kentucky Derby back in 1875.
The very first.
Yeah, the very
Kentucky
first,
Derby.
anyone.
Yeah. And Von Macklin, she's only 5'9". She has set some rebounding records in her first season at Louisville. She averaged 9.2. Well, then she upped that 10.3 in the second season at 5'9". And in one half, she had 19 rebounds in one game.
In a half. It's impressive. Kiana Smith's shot rattles out. Louisville led by 11 at the half. And that'll be a turnover. Okay, we want to get you an injury update. Sam Brunell, we've been trying to get an official word on her. You see her shoulder is all wrapped up now. She went off of the floor holding that right arm and shoulder, and we've been told they're still evaluating her, but we don't expect to see her right now come back in this game.
Well, it shortens the rotation. You just really have Anaya Peoples on the bench that will rotate in for Notre Dame without having Sam Brunell available.
Bucket in the corner by Kiana Smith, her first three. Notre Dame was held to a season-low 8 points in the second quarter. Offense has been tough to come by. They've now missed 13 of their last 14 shots. Okay, Chelsea Hall. Notre Dame's got to call timeout. Chelsea Hall with a little step around.
Ingsler, we talked about her defense, we talked about her offense, we got to talk about her sharing the basketball. She's finding the open player and then coming in transition. Woo, one-handed pass to Chelsea Hall. They're off and running.
Notre Dame's offensive struggles continue. That last play was a good example of what they struggle with today.
Notre Dame taking contested shots. Maya Dotson is being challenged by Cochran. Mighty Westfield's at the top of your screen. She is wide open to have a pass out and pass back in. You still had time on the shot clock, because when you're taking contested shots, what does that allow Louisville to do? Get out in transition before Notre Dame can even get their defense set.
Notre Dame still looking for its first points here in the third quarter.
Louisville bringing a little element of surprise, trapping with that 2-3 zone.
Citron, tough pass. Mabry, it ended up in a turnover, and there goes that transition offense for Louisville, and they draw the foul by Citron.
And still, it's Louisville that is getting out in transition. They're getting buckets, or they're getting an opportunity to shoot free throws. Notre Dame hasn't been to the free throw line yet.
Louisville hasn't been there very many times. They've taken 4 free throws today. Chelsea Hall at the line gets the first. Our ACC SEC Super Tuesday doubleheader features some of the top teams in each conference at 7 Eastern. Paolo Banchero and number 7 Duke hosting Alondas Williams and Wake Forest at Cameron Indoor. And then Oscar Tshiebwe leads Kentucky against Tennessee. Both games right here on ESPN and the app.
Zakai Ziegler from Tennessee has been a spark plug off the bench for the Vols.
Chelsea Hall, the transition buckets coming and coming.
It's either off bad shots or turnovers. That's been the best offense for Louisville.
Sonia Citron willing herself to get Notre Dame's first basket of the third quarter. And Olivia Cochran was looking for Chelsea Hall. She cut the other way.
Well, the rule is, look, if you cut back door, you got to go. So Cochran's got to be patient and see if on the pass fake, if she's going to throw it and Chelsea Hall goes back door, she's got to be in control of the basketball enough.
Notre Dame turns it over. Interesting, they take Olivia Miles out of the game.
Well, I think they like the experience. Dara Mabry, she had to play the point position last season. That's the transfer in from Virginia Tech for Notre Dame.
Tiana Smith with the 3. There's Mabry, number 1 in white. She played the point guard until Olivia Miles became an early enrollee and played in 6 games in the spring last year. Citron go to the free throw line. This will be the first time that Notre Dame goes to the charity stripe.
Plays like this are why Sonia Citron has got to be the leading candidate for Freshman of the Year in the ACC. She got courage. She has no fear. She got some tenacity about her in attacking against a gritty Louisville defense.
This is the 7th game in a row that Sonia Citron has been in the starting lineup, and Niele Ivey, their head coach, told us, offensively she started turning the corner, and that happened in the second half in the Pitt game. Emily Inksler, patience paying off, and the transition buckets, yeah, you guessed it, continuing. And then a costly turnover by Notre Dame, just a mistake on the inbounds.
That's just youth, inexperience, in a pressured situation. Louisville has taken control of this game, and how to recover, Notre Dame can't find the answer right now.
6 makes in a row for the Cardinals.
Notre Dame, yeah, they just need a set to get an open shot. They don't have to get it all back at once. One basket at a time.
Their three-point shooting hasn't improved. They were 1 for 15 in the first half. They haven't attempted a 3 in the third quarter.
Well, and if your three-point shot is not working, what do you have to go to? You've got to run ball screen action, go into some two-man game, and make sure that you're moving the basketball. You can create some driving opportunities by rotating the basketball from one side to the other.
Notre Dame has brought Olivia Miles back in the game. Offensive rebound, Van Lith. Bucket, Van Lith.
She has been terrific as of late on this win streak. And she didn't have to take a lot of shots. Like she's not gotten out of being a volume shooter, but finding the right time to shoot the basketball. Off an offensive rebound here. She works for it, gets the out of the area rebound. The defense hasn't recovered yet. Yes, that's a good shot by Haley Van Lith.
8 points for Van Lith. She's 4 of 9 from the field. She's been a big part of Louisville's 6-game win streak. Oh, too much traffic for Westbeld. Got crowded down there really quick. Pass stolen away. Citron for three, yes! Second three-pointer today by Notre Dame.
Now, Miles and Citron are really close friends. You see all Miles come down in transition, looking for a partner in crime.
I don't know if she even looked at her when she made that pass.
But she knew where she was.
Yeah. They played AAU together. Citron got in trouble in the paint. Westbelt open in the lane.
Well, does Notre Dame have enough in them? They can cut this down to 15.
Louisville's led by as many as 27.
Okay, that's a tough move by Haley Van Lith, but
3 seconds?
that's what I'm thinking.
Or 10? Maddie Westbeld with the swoosh.
See, after every offensive possession, I'm watching Niele Ivey talk to her point guard, Olivia Miles.
Here's our next NBA Wednesday doubleheader on ESPN and the app. The Nets and the Knicks square off at 7:30 Eastern. Then it's our West Coast primetime game. Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz taking on LeBron, AD, and the Lakers. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. Yeah, this is a game, going back to your point, Carolyn, this is a game where that connection between Niele Ivey and Olivia Miles could really be beneficial. They've got to climb out of a huge hole, and Coach Ivey has talked about how they're pretty much on the same page.
Well, I expect when they're going to make, Notre Dame's going to make a run, it's going to be those two that have got to team up together and really force the issue for the Irish.
6 seconds here for Louisville. Offensive rebound, Alana Smith. Another one for Cochran.
Well, here's what Notre Dame's not doing. On the shot, they're watching the flight of the ball. As aggressive and physical that Louisville is, you've got a first responsibility when the shot goes up, instead of fighting the ball, find the person that you need to box out, then locate where the ball's coming from.
Now, Notre Dame, they're averaging 42 rebounds per game, just 21 so far.
Yeah, Louisville, 39 total rebounds, 13 offensive rebounds.
And 17 second chance points. That hurts.
That's one of those things when you're breaking down film and you get to show your team tomorrow second chance opportunities where that's just effort and a focus and concentration of you got to keep your person off the glass.
That's the third foul on Emily Ingsler, so she will take a seat. Louisville does have depth in the post. They can bring in Liz Dixon. She has been very efficient for them. Hit her last 14 shots, hasn't attempted one today. Van Lake is just making an effort to drive right down the middle of the floor.
She has, ever since Louisville has made a more concerted effort of going off the bounce, they may have heard Coach Landers talk about going off the dribble, that it's been Haley Van Lith. She has 12 points today. She's 6 of 12 from the floor. But you're exactly right. And where does she go? To the middle of the floor. And it's tough for the defense to collapse in and help. So you've got to make the decision, either I'm sending her baseline or you're going to make Louisville take three-point shots, because you got to help off the shooter and stop the drive. You got to take away that high percentage shot that Haley Van Lith has been able to create.
Haley Van Lith now double-figure points in 4 of their last 5 games. She's been averaging over 17 points during that time. And a big miss at the free throw line by Dotson. Notre Dame 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Olivia Miles with the steal. Foul's going to be on Louisville's Alana Smith.
Well, it's progress for Notre Dame, because we talked about they weren't getting to the free throw line. Well, now they're getting there. Now you got to take the next step, and you got to knock them down.
Notre Dame is 3rd in the ACC in free throw percentage at 74%. There's one for Maya Dotson. They did not attempt a free throw until here in the 3rd quarter.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. They were settling for outside shots.
I'd say it was touched by Notre Dame last.
Yeah, Notre Dame 2 of 16 from the three-point line.
Meanwhile, Louisville has scored 26 points here in the 3rd quarter. Their most of any quarter today.
When you're giving up 32 points in the paint, you've spent the majority of the game playing a zone. You got to look at your defense and go, how does that happen? Well, how does that happen? It's the middle penetration that is coming in, and also Louisville getting on the glass. You got to box out of that zone as well.
10 seconds for Olivia Miles and the Irish. Miles got herself to the free throw line. I don't know if I saw a foul there. I thought it was all ball. I know it was a physical play.
She was a little bit out of control. But there's no quit in this young, can you call her a red, was it a COVID freshman?
I mean, she's technically just listed as a freshman because she gets last year for free, if you will.
Right. But there's no quit.
You hear the Louisville fans, they just showed the replay on the big jumbotron here. Alana Smith heaves it up. But guess what? Louisville growing their lead, and they're doing it with balance. It's been their MO all season.
You got Becky Hammond, who was also a finalist as well, and what she has done in the game. So, and there's also Paul Sanford, who has a great connection with Jeff Walls. Jeff Walls spent time coaching with Coach Sanford at Western Kentucky and also at Nebraska. Jeff Walls talks about what an integral part and why he has been able to do what he's done in coaching from working with Coach Sanford.
Yeah, and again, those were the finalists. They will announce the ones that are officially going in tomorrow during that Maryland-Iowa game. 5 seconds here for Notre Dame. And she stepped out of bounds. You mentioned the connection between Coach Sanford and Jeff Walls. Here they are. And, I asked Coach Walls, where do you think he's had the biggest impact on your actual coaching? And he said, it's how I watch the game. He taught me, I don't watch our offense run. I'm watching the defense. How do they react? How do they guard the play so that later on in the game, I can make that adjustment? And he learned that from working under Coach Sanford.
I played against Coach Sanford when he was coaching at Western Kentucky. Had a great player by the name of Clement Haskins, and the adjustments that he could make in the game just made either Western Kentucky hard to guard, or it made it very difficult for you to score against them.
Yeah. Of course, Coach Sanford, 3 Final Fours, made a national title appearance against Stanford in 1992 with the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. Olivia Miles taking baseline on the reverse.
So what has the Irish done? They've moved Olivia Miles from off the top, off to the wing. So she's not starting the offense, she's part of the offense. Now she's that first pass out of the offense to make things happen.
Kick out. Kiana Smith for three. Louisville led by 11 at the half. They held Notre Dame to a season low in a quarter, 8 points in the second. It's been a struggle for the Irish. They're trying to slowly get back in it. Turnovers don't help.
Louisville's defense, if you're looking at the bracket of the NCAA tournament, you're saying, I don't want to be in their bracket because they're a matchup problem. They bring the defense, and then they have so many different options offensively in the post, shooters from the wings, and they can take you off the bounce.
Yeah, Louisville is 15th in the nation in scoring defense. They have held an opponent to a season low in scoring 9 times. By the way, Notre Dame's season low for points was 54 in their loss to UConn.
Yeah, it's this Louisville team. You've got Inksler. Westbeld scores there, but Inksler, Van Lith, and what she does on the offensive side, and she's got a terrific shape. She's helped them defensively as well. And Mikasa Robinson, that's just a blue-collar worker. She fills in all the blanks.
I think every team wants a Mikasa Robinson. Maybe not your leading scorer, but she'll stuff the stat sheet everywhere else and guard the best player you're facing. Okay, Kiana Smith. Get it! Look at that move. Dad's going to be proud of that one. Her dad's the head men's coach at Cal Poly.
That's nice. Have a little shake and bake right there. I got fried chicken on the mind.
Yeah. Well, we are in the KFC Yum Center. I think Citron got poked in the face.
Yeah, Notre Dame's gonna have to push.
Tough pass, overshot the pass to Maya Dotson. Can we go back to the little shake and bake action?
She got this thing on a yo-yo, just back and forth. Woo, you reach, she teach. Kiana Smith getting to the basket.
Kiana Smith, her dad John is the head men's coach at Cal Poly. They went and played the Cal Poly women's team earlier this year, so her whole family came down from her hometown about 4 hours away. But I asked her, you know, do you and your dad talk ball a lot? And she said, well, yeah, of course. And he doesn't see all my games live, but he does break them down on Synergy later, and we watch them. But she really enjoys doing that with him.
How many dads wish they had the access to Synergy so they could break their daughter's game down?
How many daughters wish their parents didn't have that?
Now, she probably got a point there, too.
No, but it sounded like they had a great relationship. And she said, even when I have a bad game, he gives me confidence.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Jeff Wall said that Kiana's dad lets Jeff coach her, though.
That's important.
It is important not to get in the way, just to support what Jeff is trying to do. And look, it's working out very well for Kiana Smith.
Foul on Notre Dame's number 34, Maddie Westbeld for third. Team second. At the line for the Cardinals, number 10.
Maddie Westbeld just picked up her third foul. Haley Van Lith back to the free throw line, or to the free throw line for the first time tonight. She's got 12 points so far. Want to remind you, our next big Monday doubleheader, Virginia Tech hosting Virginia in Blacksburg at 7 Eastern, and then Kansas and Oklahoma State at Allen Fieldhouse, both games right here on ESPN and the app.
Now, Haley Van Lith, 14 of the last 17 games, she has scored in double figures. She was on a roller coaster as far as her scoring, up and down, but she has been very consistent as of late.
Citron, the step back three, and there's Haley Van Lith getting the rebound. Up ahead to Inksler. Took a hand to the face.
Look, Louisville is all rested and off to the races on every missed shot. It has created a transition opportunity, and when Ixler had the ball, she wasn't thinking pass. No way, no sir. She was going all the way to the basket. Olivia Miles got her across the dome, and she's able to go to the free throw line.
Did you see anything extra there? They're not going to the monitor to look at this.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
She was going for the basketball.
Yeah.
I don't think that there was anything extra, nothing malicious or intentional there.
That's the third foul on Miles as Ixler misses the first free throw. Misses them both. Notre Dame trying to end a scoring drought that's over 2 minutes long.
We talked to Neil Ivey. We talked to her, asked her about her keys for today. She said they had to have a road mentality like they did against NC State. I don't think it was as quite there as it was when they played against Westmore and NC State. She also said manage the pressure from Louisville. I think the Louisville's pressure has taken Notre Dame out of their offense, and then battle on the boards. They're losing that battle right now. That has been in control of Louisville, and Louisville has controlled this pace, being up tempo off all of the turnovers or missed shots by Notre Dame.
Van Lith, the long two, calls bank on it.
Look, that's the best shot in basketball. I love that. From the wing, banking it off.
Yeah.
Just a little kiss off the glass.
Whoop.
That's touch, baby.
It brings Van Lith to 16 points on 50% shooting as Louisville is on a 6-0 run. She called bank. Give it to her.
Look, yes. Write that check and take it straight to the bank.
To event Louisville, number 4 overall, Notre Dame, number 14 overall. That's important, meaning both teams would host first and second rounds.
And Neil Ivey talked to us about not getting in the tournament last year, and now to jump into the top 16 to potentially host in that first round. That's got to be great motivation for her team, and I think she'll remind them of that if this outcome doesn't come out the way that she's wanting it to today.
Yeah, and they're both undefeated at home on the season. Louisville, of course, is anticipated to be a number 1 seed right now. Charlie Cream said even with a loss today, although they are in control of this game, they would still keep on that number 1 seed line. In the first reveal, they were a number 2 seed, but then Tennessee lost that night and they dropped out of the top 4.
But you know that what is on Jeff Wall's mind is still going back to not having that game count as a win against Virginia. So he's not leaving any room for error. Build as much cushion as possible that he can.
And to clarify, it was counted as a win in their ACC schedule because of how they seed the ACC tournament based on win percentage, but it does not count in their overall record.
Yeah, and it should. I think that it should. And then looking at the Wichita region where Louisville and Arizona could possibly rematch. They started the season off going head-to-head. That was interesting.
Yeah, and then you had Ken Mulkey in that mix. That'd be a really fun. We'll step aside for 30 seconds. You know, postseason implications is not just the NCAA tournament. You're also looking at the ACC tournament where both of these teams right now would get that double bye, meaning they wouldn't have to play until Friday. NC State's at the top with a 13-1 record. Louisville's only loss in ACC play was to that NC State team.
Well, Jeff Walls has in mind that he's chasing that. You know, they won the regular season last year. It's a pride thing for his players as well. So glad that the ACC declared that Virginia game as a win for him.
Yeah, in their ACC record, so that puts them at 12-1. Louisville has won 4 straight ACC regular season titles. Well, Monday, the tournament, a history of ACC men's basketball continues over on the ACC Network. Episode 3 highlights 1966 to 1972. And, of course, you can always watch past episodes on the ESPN app. You know, speaking of the ACC tournament, there have been some big-time battles between these two programs in the ACC tournament. It's gotten heated over the years.
And I'm going to tell you, the ACC as a whole has gotten really interesting because, yes, you have NC State, Louisville. They're recognizing Asia Durr here in the Yum Center, but you've got Louisville, NC State, Notre Dame, Boston College has come around as well. You got Georgia Tech that's in the hunt, Virginia Tech that's in there. Greensboro is going to be hopping come conference tournament time.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. Charlie Cream has the ACC with the second most teams making the NCAA tournament. So that just speaks to what the competition is going to be like for the ACC tournament.
Well, and Notre Dame still has to have, like I said, Louisville coming to their place as well. Down the stretch, there are going to be some crucial games. They're going to be deciding that seed in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, that'll be the last game of the regular season, February 27th, Louisville at Notre Dame. Layup, Kiana Smith puts her at 17. And an offensive foul for Anea Peoples. Olivia Cochran stepping up.
You know, some people rotate in and just stand there to take the contact. We get a little offense first, but let's get to the defense. That's what I like watching today. Olivia Cochran rotates over and talk about absorb the blow. She took it hard right there. She suffered a little punishment for that sacrifice.
I think she might still be feeling it a little bit. That was a tough play. Look at Louisville's record last 3 seasons, scoring over 70 points. They're 56-0.
It's key to get to 70 plus.
Yeah.
But their offense, and this is a thing. Opponents can't say, well, I can take away Haley Van Lith and I can beat Louisville because they have other options. They got Kiana Smith. They've got Emily Inksler that can score. And, you know, you look at what Chelsea Hall has done today. Chelsea Hall got 13 points. She's 5 of 7 from the floor. The players are efficient. You don't have volume shooters. That's what they used to be with Dana Evans, who would create a lot of offense for Louisville. This year, it's everybody.
You look at all the different players who have led Louisville in scoring this season, and you can tell, Kiana Smith told us, there's a trust factor with all of us to move the basketball, and we all know that we are all offensive weapons.
And in talking to Jeff Walls again, he told us, he said, none of our players are going to be ACC Player of the Year because, you know, the voters, coaches look at how many points you score. Well, they share the wealth here in Louisville. They spread it around, and so on any given night, it can be anybody. I mean, you look at this team. Who's the ACC Player of the Year that you would nominate off of this team?
Off of Louisville, it'd be hard to pick one.
It's hard to pick one, absolutely.
Their leading scorer only averages 13 points a game.
Exactly. They have great balance, and that's something they take pride in, and they're unselfish. Nobody's worried about that award. They want the big trophy. They want to be climbing the ladder and cutting down nets.
It's a 12-2 run for Louisville. Do you think they want another shot at NC State, too?
Oh, no doubt.
That won't happen until possibly the ACC tournament.
I mean, I was in studio watching that. Third quarter, started the third, midway through the third and the fourth, NC State came out of nowhere. But we were talking about the balance of Louisville and that Jeff Walls needed number 23, Chelsea Hall, to get involved offensively, to be offensive-minded, to look to score without it being a second thought. Well, she's 5 of 7 today. She has 3 assists. Look, everybody gets to eat for the Louisville Cardinals.
The leading scorers today, 3 players in double figures. Kiana Smith, Haley Van Lith, and Chelsea Hall. You got the chance to coach Chelsea Hall at Vanderbilt. What do you think is the biggest thing that she has brought to Louisville overall?
She's got such quickness. She's got quick feet offensively and defensively. And you know what? She's a great teammate. And that to really fit in the chemistry, you know, when you have transfers coming in and you've got to fit in with 9 returners from Louisville. She was a kid you knew that could come in instantly and just fit in. And look, best dancer probably in the ACC. She is so entertaining, but she's such a great person. Chelsea Hall.
That was not listed in her bio.
They need to add that.
Yeah. We'll talk to Nick about it.
She has such a fun personality. And look, when you're around Chelsea Hall, you can't help but smile. She just makes you happy.
We have 1 minute left in the game.
Tonya Citron with the basketball right now for Notre Dame. She is leading the Irish tonight with 13 points. As it's been a tough going offensively. They only shot 27% from the field in the first half, scored a season-low 8 points in the second quarter.
9% from the three-point line, 2 of 22.
Parker with the deep ball.
She just checked in the game. She
Checked
didn't
in hot.
You know, she didn't even get warmed up. She was just like, came in ready.
Her second 3 of the season. And Maya Dotson will go to the free throw line.
Foul the Cardinals, number 0 on the line, Parker her first. Team fourth. At the line for the Irish, number 0, Maya Dotson will have 1.
Maya Dotson 8 points today.
Louisville put forth a great effort. Now Ivy will have a lot to go back and talk to her team about, one of which is defense. Don't let that ball come to the middle of the floor. And then offensively, patience, composure, and finding the shots. Take the shots you want, not the shots they allow you to have.
Round 1 goes to Louisville. These two teams will meet again on February 27th, but what a dominant performance by the Cardinals. Haley Van Lith with 16 points, 50% shooting. Their offense was there. Their defense gave Notre Dame a lot of problems.